Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Eva Nurdiana from Class A English Education Department 2020. In this occasion, I'd like to present my reading report with the topic Strategies in ELT Teaching Learning, Teaching Speaking. This video is submitted to fulfill one of the assignments of EFL Teaching Methodology lectured by Professor Nenden Sri Lenkanawati MPD and Dr. Fajri Nur Yusuf MPD. This topic is taken from the book How to Teach English by Jeremy Harmer on Chapter 9. This book was published by Pearson Education Limited on 2001. It can be found on page 123 to 132. Here are the outlines of this presentation. The first one is summary of the chapter. The second one is related theories. The third one is related research theories. The fourth one is critical analysis. The fifth one is conclusions. And the last one is references. Here are the summary of the chapter. This chapter consists of 7 subchapters. First subchapter is reason for teaching speaking. Second one is speaking sequences. The third one is discussions. The fourth subchapter is more speaking suggestions. The fifth one is correcting speaking. The sixth one is what teachers do during speaking activity. And the last subchapter is conclusion. First subchapter is reason for teaching speaking. There are 3 main reasons for getting students to speak in the classroom. First, speaking activities provide rehearsal opportunities, chance to practice real-life speaking in the safety of the classroom. The second one is speaking tasks in which students try to use any or all of the language they know and provide feedback for both teacher and students. And the last, the more students have opportunities to activate the various elements of language they have stored in their brains, the more automatic their use of these elements become. As a result, students gradually become autonomous language learners. Second subchapter is speaking sequences. The following 3 examples satisfy the 3 reasons for using speaking tasks which we mentioned above. The first example is photography competition. In this activity, students have to discuss criteria before reaching a final decision. They also have to be able to give reason for their decision. This speaking activity allows students to activate any and all of the language they know to talk about something other than learning English. The second example is role play. Role play simulates the real world in the same kind of way. But the students are given particular roles, they are told who they are and often what they think about a certain subject. They have to speak and act from their new character's point of view. The last example is portrait interview. This activity shows how portraits can be used to provoke questions and answers, which can then develop into a very involved conversation. The third subchapter is discussions. This activity fosters critical thinking and quick decision making, and students learn how to express and justify themselves in polite ways while disagreeing with the others. In this activity, students is aimed to arrive at a conclusion, share ideas about the event, or find solution in their discussion. Something we should always remember is that people need time to assemble their thoughts before any discussions. After all, it is challenging to have to give immediate and articulate opinions in our own language, let alone in a language we are struggling to learn. When students are speaking, we can help and encourage them by suggesting things they can say in order to push the discussion along. The next subchapter is more speaking suggestions. The following activities are also helpful in getting students to practice speaking as a skill. First strategies is information gap activities. In this activity, students are supposed to work in pairs. Those 2 students have different bits of information, and they can only complete the whole picture by sharing the information. There is a gap between them because they have different information to exchange. For information gap activities to work, it is strongly important that students understand the detail of the task. It is often a good idea for teachers to demonstrate how an activity works. The second one is storytelling. In this activity, students can be asked to retell stories which they have read in their books or find in newspaper or on the internet. They also can tell riddles or jokes in a target language. Storytelling can be also in the form of telling about the students themselves. They can tell about themselves, families, hobbies, personal experience, etc. While storytelling, other classmates can ask them questions in order to dig more about the information. Next is favorite objects. In this activity, students are expected to talk about their favorite object to their friends. They can describe about what is that, when they got them, why they got them, what they do with them, why it is so important to them, or whether there are any stories associated with them. The first situation is meeting and greeting. In meeting and greeting, students are playing a role play. For example, they are in a condition where they meet a lot of people and have to introduce themselves. The fifth one is survey. In this activity, students are designing a questionnaire and then go around the class interviewing each other. Next is famous people. Students think about famous people they like. Then, imaginatively, they have to arrange the meeting with them, what they would talk about, what things they would give them, etc. Next, student presentation. In classroom situation, teacher gives the student topic to present. They also give time to them to gather information and structure it accordingly. After the student presents the topic, teacher, on the other hand, gives feedback to what the students have presented. The next one is balloon debate. Imaginatively, the students are in a balloon that almost ran out of air. Each of them should represent famous characters such as Gandhi, Cleopatra, Mother Teresa, etc. or profession such as teacher, doctor, lawyer, etc. They have to argue and state their opinion about why they should be allowed to survive. The last person in the balloon are the survivor. The others have to jump out. The last one is moral dilemma. Students are given moral dilemma. Then he has to make a decision on how to resolve it. The next subchapter is correcting speaking. It is necessary for teacher to correct mistakes during speaking activities in a different way from those made during a study exercise. Many teachers watch and listen while speaking activities are taking place. They note down things that seem to go well and times when students couldn't make themselves understood or made important mistakes. When the activity has finished, they then ask the students how they thought it went before giving their own feedback. With this way, we can see if they can identify the problem and correct it. The best way of correcting speaking activities appropriately is to talk to students about it. You can ask them how and when they should prefer to be corrected. You can explain how you intend to correct during this stage and show them how different activities may mean different correction behavior on your part. Next subchapter is what teachers do during speaking activities. There's nothing wrong with teachers getting involved with their students during a speaking activity, provided they don't start to dominate. Although it probably better stand back so that you can watch and listen to what's going on. Students will appreciate teacher participation at the appropriate level. And now, here we come to the conclusion. There are 6 conclusions from this chapter. First is speaking activities are designed to provoke speaking as a skill. The second one, speaking activities provide opportunities for rehearsal, give both teacher and student feedback, and motivate students because of their engaging qualities. Third one, example of 3 types of speaking activity: decision making, role plays, and interview game. Fourth, how to get students involved in successful discussion, emphasizing that they need a chance for pre-discussion rehearsal. The fifth one, the way teachers should correct in speaking activities. And the last, there may be time when teachers need to activity along through prompting, provided it is done sensitively. Here are first, prompter. Students sometimes get lost, can't think of what to say next, or in some other way lose the fluency we expect to them. Teacher can either leave them to struggle out of such situation on their own, or help them and the activity to progress by offering discrete suggestions. Second is participant. Teachers should be a good animator when asking students to produce language. Sometimes this can be achieved by setting up an activity clearly and with enthusiasm. Third, feedback provider. A question where and how to give feedback in speaking activities is answered by considering carefully the effect of possible different approaches. According to Brown 2001, there are 7 principles for designing speaking techniques. First, using techniques that cover the spectrum of learners' need, from language-based focus on accuracy to message-based focus on interaction, meaning, and fluency. Second is provide intrinsically motivating techniques. Next, encourage the use of authentic language in meaningful contexts. Then, provide appropriate feedback and corrections. The fifth one is capitalize on the natural link between speaking and listening. Next, give students opportunities to initiate oral communication. And the last, encourage the development of speaking strategies. In feedback and correction, in subchapter 5, Turnbury 2005 distinguished mistake versus error and repair versus correction. Mistake is learners' momentary failure to apply what they already know, due mainly to the demands of online processing. An error, on the other hand, represents gap in the speaker's knowledge of the system. From those definitions, it seems that mistake can usually be self-corrected, but errors can't. To correct mistake, all the teacher do is to repair, not to correct. Repair tends to be facilitative, while correction can be construed negatively as judgmental. Repair tends to be facilitative, while correction can be construed negatively as judgmental. Repair tends to be facilitative, while correction can be construed negatively as judgmental. In this extract, the teacher intervention takes the form of a conversational repair. There are such examples to initiate, such as, "Sorry, could you say that again? I didn't get that. And what do you mean?" There are also related research reports included to this reading report. The first one is from Anjani 2013. Anjani Putra made a research on teacher strategies in teaching speaking to students at secondary level. His research portrayed teacher strategies in teaching speaking to students at secondary level and recognizing student response towards strategies by involving an English teacher and class of 22 students. The result revealed that the strategies used by the teacher were cooperative activities, role play, creative tasks, and drilling. In the meantime, students' response toward the strategies resulted in positive attitude as they responded that the strategies helped them to speak, as well as concerted oral production of students whose participation was emphasized. On the other hand, Kai 2006 gave another strategies in promoting speaking. Those are brainstorming, interviews, story completion, playing cards, picture narrating, picture describing, and find the difference. Next is critical analysis. To be able to communicate fluently in a foreign language is the ultimate goal for many language learners. However, it seems that the teaching of oral skills in language classroom doesn't have an important role. Despite of teachers' lack of knowledge in teaching speaking strategies, the focus of national examination on written skill make the teaching of speaking skill get less concern in many public schools in Indonesia. According to my personal experience in learning English, a year in elementary school, 3 years in junior high school, and 3 years in senior high school, there was no significant improvement in my speaking skill. Ironically, time spent in learning didn't equal the result on expected outcomes. This fact should be an important thing to be evaluated. And then here we come to the conclusion. There are various strategies of teaching speaking that can be applied. These alternatives of strategies can be chosen based on student level of proficiency. For beginner, we can use picture card and portrait review. For pre-intermediate, we can use find the difference and meeting and greeting strategies. From intermediate, information gaps, favorite object, picture narrating, picture describing, story completion, storytelling, and survey will be suit their proficiency. And the last, for intermediate to advanced, student presentation, balloon debate, moral dilemma, interview, and discussion will suit their proficiency. In this reading report, I use many references. And second one is Teaching the Spoken Language by Brown and Ewell, 1991. Next, Teaching Speaking Activities to Promote Speaking in a Second Language by Kai Heidi, 2009. Next, Teaching Speaking, University of Turku Center for Applied Language Studies by Pakula, 2019.